There are people who are the talent. There are people who are the visionary. There's a very, very small percentage of people who are both, right? And I think what you have to really, really assess is which one are you? Some people who say I'm both are absolutely not both. You're just not both, right? And you have to start assessing what does the talent do? What does the creative do? What does the visionary do? And actually identify the roles that person will play. And are you being the talent? And are you being the visionary? And are you doing both parts effectively? And if you're not, then you ask yourself, which one am I most effective at? The talent or the vision? But there are some people who are very, very, very good at both the execution and seeing the big picture. That you're good in the details in this moment right now, and you can see the big picture of it. You are also someone who's really good at it. You lean into one side, but you're really, really good at doing both. I am a both person. Depending on the role that I'm playing, I lean into one side. So when I am working with clients, I am more of the strategist that's focused on the details, right? But I have to keep the bigger picture in mind. Most of my clients don't really see their big picture clearly. When I'm working, though, in my business, I have someone else who focuses on the details, and I'm strictly focused on the vision. In fact, one of the biggest frustrations as a CEO for me was having to, in my own business, focus on the details. But in my clients' businesses, I love focusing on the details. So I think it's situational, but also facing the reality of I'm not both.
But I think that's three different roles between the details, the talent, and the vision. The vision and the details are different. Like, you need somebody who can focus on the details and say, okay, we're going to start a podcast, right? So for instance, the visionary says, yo, you know what'd be dope? We do a podcast where we're breaking down music, like rap songs. So there was, I love talking, I was telling the kids this. I was listening to a song. You know how somebody puts a song on Instagram and you're like, oh, I ain't heard that in a minute. And you go to Spotify, you listen to it. That's what happened. So there's a song, You Must Love Me by Jay-Z. Y'all remember that song? First,
Tell us how I go.
That's crazy.
Spit real quick.
No, it's all good. It was the last song on, I don't think it was Reasonable Doubt. It might have been Volume 1. So the first verse, he's telling this story of how his mother only motivated him, but he sold his mom crack. And we're looking at a story. It wasn't, he was talking about his mom. He was talking about people in that situation. He said, constant motivate. You never let them hold you back. What I do, turn around and I sold you crack. I was something for that. Something drowning in shame. Something. You're not to blame. So he's telling this story of how he regrets how he treated the person who birthed him and loved him. She always tried to motivate him. Second verse, right? He's recounting a story of how he shot his brother. So y'all remember, right? The song? He said, where my rings? Knew you had it because you took too long. As Mickey, Annie, and the girl that bought it looked on. Huffing and puffing, gun in my hand, told you step outside. Hoping you said no, but you hurt my pride. So he invited his brother to come see him outside. Jay-Z has a gun on him. He walks downstairs and he shoots his brother. He's telling the story, but through his mind this whole time, he's knowing he's wrong, but he's doing it anyway. The third verse, he starts talking about this girl that he absolutely, and he said at the end of that verse, he said, how could I go out that way? Still you asked to see me in the hospital the next day. You must love me, right? So he's talking about the people that love him that he does dirty. Third verse is, I guess, a girl that he's dating, and he straps her with some drugs, puts her on the plane, and at the end of the verse, he said, how could I, pretty much, what would make me sacrifice your life for this money? You must love me. So it's a man that's torn between the lifestyle that he has, the stuff that he does, and he's hurting the people along the way. There could be a dope podcast behind that. Let's just take the music and let's break down what's being said in the songs. It takes a Steve Jobs to think of that. Yo, you know what'd be dope? Let's do this idea. But then it has to be a talent, somebody who really knows music and can relate the stories in the music to actual life.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that's best in the world at, I understand the song and they know what's going on in the news and how they can relate that, put it together and be a dope podcast host. Now, the person who comes up with the idea may not necessarily be the best podcast host to be able to facilitate a conversation, right? But then you need the person who's actually going to record it, edit it, make it look right, and present it a certain way, right? That's 3 different roles to produce something amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's important to identify what you are, because if you know what you are, you can go find the rest. You might have really good ideas, and now you're just looking for talent.